Ceux qui peuvent vous faire croire à des absurdités peuvent vous faire commettre des atrocités. Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Voltaire. Donald J. Trump is a fascist who has succeeded in convincing tens of millions of Americans in believing farcical absurdities. He has convinced people that you send your boy to elementary school and he comes back as a girl who's undergone gender reassignment surgery at the elementary school without your permission. He said that multiple times and people believe it. He's dug in and said over and over again that Haitian immigrants are stealing people's pets and putting them on the barbecue and eating them. People believe that farcical absurdity. And the biggest lie of all, that tens of millions of Americans have been duped into believing, is that the 2020 election was fraudulently stolen from him, and that January 6th was a peaceful day full of joy. Millions of people have been convinced to believe in those absurdities by Donald J. Trump. Just like fascists throughout history, authoritarian leaders throughout history, he has threatened violence against his own people. Just 2 weeks ago, he called Americans who disagree with him the greatest threat to this country, far greater threat than Iran or China or Russia, calling them, quote, the enemy from within, quote, vermin who need to be rooted out. And he explicitly and unequivocally on Fox News said he would use the U.S. military to stamp out Americans who disagree with him. His own Secretary of Defense corroborated that. Mark Esper went on 60 Minutes and said the President of the United States wanted to shoot peaceful protesters in Lafayette Square who were protesting George Floyd's murder. He has plagiarized repeatedly on multiple occasions Adolf Hitler's own words from Mein Kampf, saying that immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country, that they are vile scum, bringing bad genes into this country, like typical Nazi eugenics ideology. He's invited Holocaust deniers to dine with him at Mar-a-Lago. He's best buddies with famous podcasters who say that the Nazis that were in the right. Hitler didn't do anything wrong. He's misunderstood. Of course, he apologized for the white supremacist Nazis carrying swastikas and Confederate flags who murdered Heather Heyer in Charlottesville in 2017. Those are very good people, according to Donald Trump. So, that's a lot of fascist rhetoric. But what is the difference the second time around? I have a lot of people who said to me, he can't do any of that stuff. It's just talk. The difference in a second Trump term is that because of the 2024 Supreme Court ruling, the president is now a king above the law, immune from any prosecution. Any official act that the president wants to enact, he's free to do that. That is the law of the land, per SCOTUS in the summer of 2024. The guardrails are off. He intends to purge the government of all non-loyalists, and he has absolutely no qualms about committing violence against Americans who disagree with him. That's all he talks about: imprisoning and prosecuting, putting on military tribunals his political rivals. So yeah, I think that anyone who has been convinced to believe the absurd lies that Donald Trump has peddled for the past 8 years could be convinced to commit atrocities against other Americans. Those are the stakes of the November 5th election. It's not hyperbole. It's not hysteria. It's not alarmism. It's not radical leftist anything. Those are plain facts that you can either choose to act upon or flush down the memory hole and ignore. Which side of history will you choose to be on? I am voting for Kamala Harris to defeat this overt fascist threat that is Donald J. Trump. Do the right thing.